once again to your fortnightly program on this station here and your weekly program on Little Rock Television Station, In Perspective. With me tonight, as usual, is the party supervisor for Region 6, Comrade Zamal Hussein. Over the next hour or so, we'll be talking on some, we'll be dealing with some topical issues. We would like to hear from you what is taking place in your community, some suggestion that you have, and also how the NDCs in your various communities has been functioning. We would like to hear from you about the situation in the region and also in the country. Tonight, as a matter of fact, we would not like to speak for very long. We would like to hear from you because we have a number of issues which we will introduce, and then we would like to hear your views on those issues. And the most topical issue today is once again in the sugar industry. We know for a fact that the government now, they have closed 4 sugar estates, and those estates are Wales, which was closed about over a year ago, and then that was followed by Enmore, Rosal, and Skeldon. Those 3 estates, they have been closed recently. But we were always saying in the PPP Civic, we were always saying that before you close an important industry like the sugar industry or like those estates, the government should have conducted an economic impact study in these areas. And we were so true because we were so factual in terms of bringing out this idea, because if you have an industry that have employed more than 17,000 persons, and those persons directly depend on the sugar industry, and then you have another set of persons who are indirectly dependent on the sugar industry. You can't go willy-nilly and close down sugar estate at the whims and fancy of the government. And it seems at that time we were saying that the government is making a political decision, and the political decision that the government was making is to to punish and suffer the supporters of the People's Progressive Party, especially the sugar workers. And that came out to be very factual, not during that time, and now the government came out with a suggestion that they want to borrow $15 billion to restart the sugar factory at Enmore and Skeldon. Look at these people. If they had any economic sense, if Jordan, who is our Minister of Finance for the country, has any economic sense, or if he knows economics and he is advising the government, then he is advising the government wrong, because to close an industry where you had operation going on, operation that was that had implied more than 4,000 persons at Enmore, Rosal, and Skeldon together, you got over 12,000 persons were employed in those areas. You close down the factories, and after 2 months, imagine this, you close down a factory factories that was operable, factories that were in action, factories that could have crushed the canes, and you had people there working in the sugar in those sugar factories. You close down the factories, and after 2 months, you're going back now to borrow money to restart operations in at least 2 of these factories. What kind of economic sense that is? So it shows that this government does not know what they are doing. They don't know what, they don't have an economic plan for this country. It showed that their actions were purely political, was purely to suffer people who perceived to be supporters of the People's Progressive Party, and that is the sugar workers. Where is the AFC today in all of this? The AFC does not have a voice. As a matter of fact, when the idea of closing these factories were mooted by the president, Nagamutu called him out blanketly and said that he supports the president's decision. And he was the guy, he came to Berbice with Ramchatan. They were on television almost every week saying how the sugar workers were being robbed by the PPP civic government, that they will increase sugar worker salary, and we know his history, sugar worker salary by 20%, and the condition of sugar workers will improve. Well, since this government, since this coalition government has taken office 2.5 years ago, we have now witnessed the contraction of the sugar industry. We have seen thousands of workers have lost their jobs, not only in the sugar industry, over 7,000 workers in the sugar industry, they have lost their jobs, and there are a number of other workers in other various sectors, they have lost their job. So since this coalition government took office 2.5 years ago, over 25,000 people have lost their jobs in this country. And they have not brought in a single new investment to create jobs for people. So as a matter of fact, they went to the election with a manifesto promising the nation that they will create more jobs, they will get a better, good life for the Guyanese. Well, we are seeing it today. Everything now that they made promises of, those things are opposite today. The good life is for them. They increase their salaries from the time they assume office. They haven't paid the sugar workers a single cent increase since they have took over this government. They have taken away benefits that sugar workers were enjoying, and benefits like the annual production incentive. API was a long and hard struggle that was fought with the sugar workers by the GAU and the PPP. Today, all those fights, all those struggles, all those sacrifices have gone into vain with this government action, what they have done in the sugar industry. So they have ruined the sugar industry. And we are seeing now that they want to borrow $15 billion to bring back these two sugar factories, Enmore and Skellen, back into operation. When you had 2 months ago, they had operable sugar factories throughout this country. So this is the kind of vision this government has. Visionless, they don't have a plan, and they continue to ruin the well-being of the people of our country. So I want to hear your views on those matters, especially those sugar workers who have been dismissed. And we know now that sugar workers have been dismissed. Those sugar workers I am talking about, they have been dismissed since the beginning of this year. 2 months by next week we'll finish 2 months, and the sugar workers have not earned a single cent. And although the laws of the land state that upon the expiration of your letter of notice to dismiss or terminate your service, the corporation or the company that you work for, they have to pay you a severance pay. We know for a fact now that Gaisuko and this government pay only half of the severance pay. So they are now flouting the constitution, the labor laws in our country. You can see these are the things. And then we continue to have corruption after corruption. Every single day we have a new scandal taking place, and we have corruption tremendously now in this country, in every single sector. They went to the campaign in 2015, and they say that the PPPC was corrupt, that the PPPC, they went and they fought their campaign based on corruption. Well, they did a number of forensic audits. A number of forensic audits they have done. They have expended more than $100 million in paying for these audits. And to date, not a single PPP leader was taken to the court, because they can't find things like that, but the perception and the things that they put in people. And they come every single night on the television, and they go in different areas and whisper these things to people that the PPPC was corrupt. We know for a fact they have set up also a number of commission of inquiries. And one of the commission of inquiry, they pay close to about $60 million. That one was the Commission of Inquiry into Gaisuku. What the Commission recommends? The Commission recommended that not a single sugar factory should be closed. But the Commission recommendation was not to their favor. So the President said that was not gospel. Throw that aside. So he sued them, throw it aside, and they closing down the sugar factory. They are concerned how the people will live. Many children now are not going to school because of the economic situation. Places like Kanji, places like Skeldon, and more, Wales, those areas now, almost all the economic activities in those areas have been scaled down tremendously because money is not circulating. Sugar workers who are working in the sugar industry in these areas are contemplating now where the next meal will come from. This is the kind of way that this government has brought our people. We are going back, or they are taking us back to the dark days when we had to struggle. Today they have taken away our jobs. Tomorrow they will take away our food stuff. You remember the time when we used to line up at this KSI, the Knowledge Sharing Institute? We had to line up for basic food items. Well, it seems that this government is taking us back down that road. Dictatorship has started to loom again in our country. And I will bring another example to show you how dictatorial this government is. Recently, as the flag raising night, I will bring an incident that happened right in our region to show you how dictatorial this government is. If you don't follow their line, if you don't follow their wishes, if you don't follow what they want, they will do any single thing just to subjugate you, stop you, and just to blank you off. That is the kind of way, and only dictator and dictatorship operates like this, like them. I will bring an incident just now. The economy is in a tailspin. We are seeing almost all the sectors, as I mentioned, all the sectors are down. The forestry sector, the gold sector, the agriculture sector, every single thing, the construction sectors, every single sector, we are seeing serious problems. Jobs are not being created, and the people in these sectors, we are seeing these sectors contracting every single day. They are putting all their eggs in one basket, and they are talking about oil. Oil is we have oil in Guyana, but you know the problem with the contract. They have signed a contract, and the whole country, and not only people in Guyana alone is criticizing the contract that they have signed. Other international persons who have experience in oil and gas, they are criticizing the contract that this government signed because they feel that the contract have betrayed the country, and they have given away our patrimony to foreigners. So that is another issue I want to talk about. I have three other issues to deal with, but at this point in time I will ask my colleague and the PPP supervisor. We know for a fact, as I said in my previous programs, we had, I have mentioned, and all those persons, my guests who are with me on television, we were talking about the important exercise that is being conducted right now by GCOM. I would like to hear from you, and I want to encourage you, each and every person who needs to make a claim to be on the voters list, those young persons who will become of age by April the 30th, and that those young persons I mean 18 years and over. Those persons who will be 18 years and over by April the 30th of this year are those persons who have born on or before April the 30th, 2000. They should go and register now. Also, those young persons who need an ID card and who will be 14 years by April the 30th of this year, or who have born by April the 30th on or before April the 30th, 2004, they can also go and register. There are a number of persons who have moved from one part of the country or one part of the region to the other one, but they have registered in the area that they were living before. I am appealing to those persons to go and take a transfer so that you can be in the right division. that you are living in presently. This is very, very important. For the last two elections, the 2011 and the 2015 elections, many of our supporters, many supporters of the People's Progressive Party, Civic, did not have a chance to vote because they registered in another division and they were living in a division where their names were not on the list. And many persons did not take the advice to go back to their community where they registered to vote. As a result of that, many persons did not have a chance to exercise their franchise in the last two elections. Brothers and sisters, viewers, it's important this time around that each and every supporters of the People's Progressive Party go out there and get their names on the list. Our activists are in the field, our comrades in the party offices, our party organizers, they can help you if you can't afford it to go to the center. They have arranged certain transportation to take you there. As I said before I asked Comrade Zamal, I want to bring in an incident, as I said, that took place last Thursday evening, where the Kariba Town Council was planning their flag raising ceremony. They have planned it, they have invited the Minister of Communities to be there to speak. He refused the invitation, and as a result of that, he said that he can't make it to the event, and as a result of that, the town council, the mayor and his councillor, decided that they will have MP Anamaya to be the guest speaker. Lo and behold, just before the event, they were called and told that Ramjatan will be there. They said yes, they will accommodate him, but there will not be any guest speaker because there will be no guest speakers address at the function. There will only be remarks. The government demanded that Ramjatan must go there to be the guest speaker. The council said no, that he will be there, but Adrian Anamaya will be delivering remarks just as Ramjatan. And after the council say that they have decided that he will have to make remarks, they say that they will ask the police to stop the event. And when the comrades them in Karibaton went to start the function, they were stopped by the police and the event was aborted. So you could see the dictatorial way how they're behaving. So this is the kind of way that this government is behaving and acting. And we can see that dictatorship have started, dictatorial way have started once again, and we are seeing our freedom is at threat. Our democracy is at threat. So Zamal, I want to bring you here. You have listened to some of the issues that I thought are very important to Borbetian, Region 5 and 6. Your thoughts on these issues?
Thank you very much, Comrade Zulfi. And viewers, good night. And I want to give my share on certain issues that was raised by you, Comrade Zulfi. And one of such issue is the Gaisuku issue, whereby I know over the period for the last couple of weeks, a number of your workers have been coming into the office to indicate to us they have some issue whereby they were given transfer to go to the other estates, but the transportation was not provided, and also they don't know what would be the condition of work when they go to the other estate. So in fact, I have engaged you, and also I will try to engage some other comrades whereby we could be able to look at some of these issues, because I know the plight that the sugar worker is getting right across the country, whereby from Enmore, Wales, Corriverton, or in the Rosal area. I know also that the situation is getting even harder, the economic situation in these areas, especially in the Kanji, New Amsterdam, Skelden area. The economic situation is so bad there now that maybe in the next month you will see that it will increase the burden of persons. Also, I want to share my views on the corruption issue, whereby there is so much of corruption in this region and the country at large that many persons, I see that the transparency index has risen by about 17 points or 18 points, whereby we have moved up. But the perception that these transparency persons are indicating to us is not so. The corruption is so rampant in all the sectors, the health sector, the national drainage and irrigation sector. We have seen the Ministry of Public Infrastructure. We have seen all the other sectors. Corruption is rampant right across the country, right in Region 6 here. If we look at some of the national and the central government projects, we have been seeing contractors doing job and they are not doing it to the standard that they're supposed to do it. In fact, right now the Ministry of Public Infrastructure is doing a road on the East Bank Borbies. I was up there a couple of days ago. In fact, we was in Mara at the Platanki area, and when we go up there, we have seen the quality of work that is being executed by the Ministry of Public Infrastructure. In fact, they promised the residents of East Bank Borbies that they will do the work to the standard of the IDB, whereby a contract during the PPP time, whereby the design and so forth was done by the IDB, and they promised that they would live up to the standard of the contract. But lo and behold, you go up there and you will see what is really transpiring. I think that project needs to be investigated because there is numerous amount of corruption going on these Bank Borbies. Also, various projects in terms of the drainage and irrigation, we see contractors being paid and they are not doing the work. In fact, I've said it last week at the television, that contractors even calling me to threaten me on some of these issues by speaking out against corruption at certain levels. And this is very shocking because we know that taxpayers' money is being swindled out by this government. And we have to ensure that we speak out against this, because when the perception was there in the PPP time, there was only a perception and people used to speak out with no evidence. We have substantial amount of evidence to prove that most of these projects are corrupt. Also, I want to say pertaining to taxation, contractors out there have to be very careful because there is a hidden amount, a 14% taxation on the contract sum in all the contracts that is being executed both regionally and nationally. And we have to be very careful because when we go to GRA, then we will actually know that this tax is in the contract sum. So we have to keep abreast. I think this is applied by the government not to publicly notify persons of some of these taxation. This is a hidden tax. In fact, it was said that this tax was implemented since in the 2017 budget, and lo and behold, persons were not notified about these taxes. So we have to be very careful because additional burden will be coming down on the people of this country. And if we don't speak out, I know a lot of persons nowadays don't speak out because they are afraid that they will be victimized. But you have to join the People's Progressive Party, you have to join us to speak out about corruption. In fact, a couple of years ago, we have raised the issue about the taxes in New Amsterdam, and we have seen the excuses coming from the mayor of New Amsterdam stating that project is being done, and that is the reason to be justifying 100% increases in rates of tax in the municipality of New Amsterdam. So also we have seen many other projects that is being executed and not done to the standard that it should be done. So I want to urge that persons come forward and speak out against these issues.
All right, thank you very much, Zama, for your thoughts on those issues. As I said again, viewers, it's very important that we now, GCOM is conducting this important exercise, that is the claims and objections. And those persons whose names are not on the voters list, they should go to the office, the centers. They have 3 centers in Region 6 and 2 in Region 5. The 2 centers in Region 5 are Myconi and Fort Wellington. In Region 6, you have a center in New Amsterdam that's responsible for the area from Firish to Mara, including Kanji Creek and Kanji. They one at Kildonan. Those persons from Kilkite to number 51 can go there, including Blackbush Polder. And they one at Curriverton from number 52 to Oriala Siparuta can go there and do their transaction. Remember, viewers, it's the only chance that we have now to get ourselves in the right position. So when the time comes, we can exercise our franchise. We can choose a government that can govern our country and ensure that our standard of living improve. Ladies and gentlemen, another issue I want to, or another announcement I want to make is that this year, 2018, will be 100 or the 100th birth anniversary of Comrade Chedi Jagan. You know for a fact that Comrade Chedi Jagan sacrificed his life for the betterment of the country's people. From since the young days, he worked, he fought against British imperialism, he fought for independence. Then when we had independence in 1966, he fought against the PNC dictatorship for 28 years. And in 1992, when the PPP won the election, Comrade Chedi did not live too long. In the first term, in March of 1997, we know he died. This year will mark 21 years since he died, and this year will mark the 100th birth anniversary of Comrade Chedi Jagan. The People's Progressive Party has established a committee, and will be doing events across Guyana, events also in the United States, Canada, England, and so. And this year, we'll start out the event with the Babujan memorial activity. However, it will not be the usual activity that we normally do there. It will be an activity of different in nature, where we'll be having marches from 2 points. One march will commence from Bloomfield by the Trail Complex, and another from the Williamsburg Pay Office Market. And those 2 marches will march to Babujan, where we'll have a massive rally. And that rally will be addressed by the General Secretary of the PPP and leader of the opposition, Dr. Barajagde, and other prominent leaders, not only in politics, but you will have leaders from NGOs, leaders from the religious organization, students, former sugar workers, their families, and things like that. So I urge you to ensure that on the 11th of March, this event will be held at Babujan at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but the marches will commence from 1:30 p.m. from both ends. So I'm urging you to let us show our appreciation to this giant, let us show our appreciation to the father of the nation, and at the same time, let us come out in our numbers to send a message to this government, to tell them that we will not sit by and take down what they send to us. We'll continue to fight, and we'll continue to fight for freedom and democracy that Comrade Chedi Jagan stands for. So I would like to hear your view tonight too on that, and if you will be coming out to join the marches so that we can go there and remember the great son of the soil. Another issue, a burning issue in the region, is the health sector. And we know for a fact that this government have been, they have not been showing any interest in the health sector in our country. Basic drugs item, basic medication if you go to the hospital, or in short supplies. Many times patients complain to me that when they go to the hospital and the doctor write on the prescription and go to the pharmacy, the pharmacist normally told them to go outside, they don't have the drugs. The ophthalmology hospital that we have in Port Morant, that was built under the PPP civic government, and that has many thousands of operations, eye operations, from poor people. Even people from Suriname used to come to the ophthalmology hospital at Port Morant to do eye surgeries. And many poor persons who did not afford it before that, they had their eye cleaned there, the cataract was removed and things like that. That hospital is not working today. Many poor persons today have to live with the eye ailment that they have. Also, other sicknesses, injuries, we are seeing the neglect in the health sector. I have a young person in studio here. I want to bring in television here this evening, and I will ask him, and he will tell you. I don't want to report it. I will hear from him directly what has happened to him and what the doctor at the New Amsterdam Hospital told him, and you will hear from me. I will ask the operator to run an ad, and then he will come in studio. Viewers, I have a young man here. His name is Miguel Ramjatan, and his age is 13 years. Of course, he doesn't have any relation to the Ramjatan government. But, young man, tell me something. You said you had an accident. When?
New Year's night.
New Year's night you had the accident. And your hand, your feet, and your head, you had injuries. Right? It seems that your head injury is now healed, and your knee, your injury is healed here. But what happened to your hand?
The marble is slipped.
So your hand is slipped, and you went to the doctor. You went and took out how many X-rays? Two X-rays you took out. And what did they discover? That the whole shoulder is slipped.
The marble is slipped on covered shoulder.
Good. So what did the doctor advise you? That you have to do a surgery. So you went to New Amsterdam Hospital.
Yes.
And who put your hand in cast?
Nine.
The doctor put your hand in cast, and the hospital told you that they will contact you back when the surgery, the date, give you a date for the surgery. They haven't given you your date, and since New Year's Day, your hand is like this. Are you going to school?
No.
So which school you normally attend?
Centenary.
Secondary. Okay. So since New Year's Day to now, the doctor or the hospital didn't give, they can't give you a date to go and do the surgery.
No.
And as a result of that, you are not attending school.
Yes.
Okay. So you don't know what to do now. So you never visit back the doctor in New Amsterdam, the hospital in New Amsterdam. You call them?
Yes.
And what they told you?
They said so they will call when they're ready to do the surgery.
So up to now, 2 months are about to finish, and they never call you as yet. And all the time you lose in school and you get in pain. Alright, viewers, this is the plight of this young man. If we have a young person who suffered accidents 2 months ago, and the administration in this region can't find it fit to get a date, simple basic thing, to do a simple operation to fix the guy's shoulder, then what we are doing in this country, a simple operation, that means if this parents had the kind of funds, they could have got to a private hospital to do it. But they don't have the kind of, to do it, they don't have the funds to do it, so that the boy have to wait for the public facility, and they are not giving him a deed. So this is a plight that our people in this country, they are being faced with in the health sector. When you hear the government in Parliament, they're saying they're spending billions of dollars in the health sector. And this is the result we get. The ophthalmology hospital closed. You can't get basic drugs in the hospital. Now, surgery. Basic thing as surgery, minor surgery, just to fix this young man's shoulder. They can't give him a date yet. They told him they got a system in place. You see the kind of plight of people in this country. So I will continue. I want to hear your view on this matter. I will continue this program after this ads. We will continue and we will open our telephone lines so that we can take your call. So the operator will run an ads, please. Welcome once again, viewers. We just had the young man who suffered that accident since New Year's Day, and he's still waiting on the administration of the New Amsterdam Hospital for a date to go and do a surgery to fix his hand. As I said, when I had him here just now, he's not attending school due to the accidents, and his hand is in cast, and there's a big weight under his elbow there, so his shirt, he can't put on his shirt properly, and so to get to school. As I said, we'll be opening our telephone lines. Before that, I will ask Zamal Hussein, who is an RDC councillor and the chairman of the Health Committee in Region 6. Zamal, your view on this issue, what the region doing in this matter in terms of a hospital, the main hospital in Bordeaux, Region 6, can't get a date or give this boy to do a surgery.
Well, Comrade Zulfi, you know, a couple of days ago I was in a meeting with the Director of Health Services, Comrade Stevens, and I said to him that we have to measure the health sector based on how people is being helped or is being treated. And this incident is an actual incident. You know, I brought the incident to the meeting whereby somebody went in there emergency with belly pain, and he was told that, you know, you have to get 2 injections. He had to purchase the 2 injections, come back, give him the injection, and then was told the next day that he have to do an ultrasound. Lo and behold, when he went the next day to do the ultrasound, that was 2 Sundays ago. A Sunday ago, they gave him 1 month after, which is the 18th of March, to go and do the ultrasound. So if we have to measure the health sector on the progress that we get in, we can measure it by this. If an individual go there and you have to wait so long to get an ultrasound, I'm feeling for the young man who was here in terms of how he has to wait for months now with a slip shoulder, and the doctor is not fixing it. But this is the actual state. The excuse by the Director of Health Services was that only essential drugs is being purchased, and any other thing, the patients have to purchase it. So I said to him at the meeting, I said to him that I will have to let the public know, when you go into the hospital now, any public institution, you have to work with money, because you got to go and buy your drugs, because if you not buy your drugs when you reach
or you got to go to a private hospital
or emergency, right, then you will be in serious problem. In the time of the PPP, we didn't have to purchase drugs with that amount. Yes, we had to purchase some amount, but not the amount we have. Anytime we raise an issue, the drugs is not an essential drugs. This particular incident with the young man, well, I think that the sector, this is to show the negligence of the health sector now in Region 6.
And they're depriving the young man from attending to school.
Definitely, right. This is depriving him his rightful rights.
So, viewers, you could hear a number of issues we have raised. I would like to hear your views. As I said, that I will open the telephone line. I see the line is going. Let me take the first call. Hello, good evening. Can you turn the volume of your television down, please? And where are you calling us from? Skelden.
I think I was the last caller in the last presenter.
Okay.
I was Skelden. And so, you think that you talk about the seriousness, right?
Mm-hmm. I
was one of the person that was running all year. And he found that Dr. Mahadev, he is the guy that is running the water system. I think to myself is that when someone seeing the story of 2020, and there's a list that came out a few days back, which is the 1st of January 2018. And this list has some of them, not all, something is more on the list. Now these could be new registered. Now, people went to these places and saw them this. And today we had a meeting with Dr. Mahadev at one part. Where years of age. My name could be add that list. And somebody else who didn't buy between on the 30th, 2024, congratulations years. This could be a ESC an active person. And when you come to think of it, if you look at the perspective of the right situation, this government is strict on doing things how they want it to be done.
Okay.
So if you are giving PPP abuse, and you are giving them during the 30th, 2017 years, how come now you are giving certain areas late or 1st of January 2018?
Alright, I'm going to explain and tell you just now. Right, comrade? Let me tell you exactly what took place.
Well, what I'm saying here is that I just want to list out certain things.
Right, I will just explain this thing and tell you.
No, so just, Mr. Zulficar, I would like you to just list me out. There is not one issue I need to speak.
Okay, the other issue.
My mayor of Corporation had a meeting with the SPU, Centenary. He told me that he had to leave by like a
Okay.
I think that was Tuesday. But no, he had a meeting at that of that with SPU. And the thing that the staff in New York State, they need $14 million.
Okay.
But the staff Centenary Street, they need $1.2 billion. So I asked him, I said, brother, the staff theater is working at Australia. And if a factory is working, and just stop because of the going in papers that you are not going further because you only register one people on the 29th of December.
Right.
So if the you will not be over. You will stop regardless of that before that.
Right.
How is it a factory working and just shut down because of a crack and you're thinking about 1.2 billion? Now if you explain to me and say that look, you need this in a process of time of paying wages and salaries. I said, look at it as when you go around and say, okay, maybe
Right.
when you produce and you sell, you're then going to get back that money. But then calling on the following day, we received to the finance minister on MCM saying that look, we need $10 to $15 billion
Right.
to start annual and so on.
Yes.
And we going to do it just to get the skeleton running that somebody can see it to purchase it, but to invest into it, $10 to $15 billion. So immediately you are telling me we're going to steal $14 billion from the Isuku and put it in the future government as a burden.
Yeah, right.
Now, because the wrong thing, I would like you to explain that.
Alright, good. Thanks for the call. And
Just say no, but not it.
no, but we got to give our caller a chance.
I agree with
You
that.
understand?
You agree? What I'm telling you, you really no time and now you're able to tell
Alright, the next issue, what you want? 2, list and the SPU. I will explain it. The other one.
Sir, I work at Centenary for 40 years, and that is really what I'm good speaking to you.
Alright.
First, the four-generation plan at Centenary State was the acceleration of the debt that Centenary State approved when they made the new factory.
Yeah.
And if you look at it in a practical way, the four-generation plan is supposed to be a backup if there is a fall of revenue in sugar. Now, we don't know whether 9.5 billion done last year.
Right.
That's what I say was. And I'm saying this because I see 2 weeks back, the CEO GDL showed that they purchased molasses and a few sugar from them by Suku at $2.2 billion, which is my government in the time, and this government and PLC government never tell us how much money they ever made on molasses.
All right.
But they only have the sugar.
Yeah, I understand.
And
I
if
understand.
PPP is buying
The molasses, right.
let me take it by two, the sugar, and the 2 billion in molasses. Tell me how much BDL and BIH is buying.
All right, yes, okay.
And also, what is the everything? I'm a band PPP service.
I know,
And I will buy as one.
okay.
But, you know, when I look at things back, it is showing us that, you know, even our government at times didn't tell us that molasses are making.
All right, let me explain. But Comrade is speaking for the 8 minutes now. Let us give somebody else a chance, right? Thank you, and we can continue the discussion.
I'm just going to show you.
Yeah, no, you got a lot of facts, but we'll continue this discussion, right?
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much. The caller made some very, very good points, and I think that those are very, very valid points. You're right that the SPU informed the workers that they need so much money, but the finance minister is saying that they need $15 billion. We don't know where those money go into, how they will expend those money in the sugar industry, because only 2 months now these sugar factories have been closed. So they don't need more all those funds to restart it. Those were operable factories.
I think the funds is maybe for
right?
the upcoming local
And then the problem with the list, GCOM, we recommend we represent to GCOM that we need an updated copy of the voters list so that we can do our work in the community and help people to get on the list, to advise them to go to the nearest center. They gave us a list since dated last year, June, and they brought out a list January 2018. So their list have more names than the old list that they gave us. When we discover it and we raise it with them, only yesterday they informed me that they will give us the updated, but we have to deal with that at another forum. Right? And then the cogen plan, the caller made a good point in the cogen plan. That plan was developed to back up the Skeleton factory, the Skeleton estate, and we are not getting any report coming out from Gaisupa or the government. Hello caller, good evening.
Hello, good night.
Good night, and where are you calling us from?
Wim.
Wim, okay.
Yes, I'd like to do a complaint, like when you go to the public hospital in Amsterdam, and you have to take a blood test. Then send you to the alcohol lab to take the blood test, and you got to pay $9,000 to take the blood test.
Okay. So they don't give you blood tests at the Amsterdam hospital?
No, they must send you to the alcohol lab to take the blood test.
Well, I will ask this comrade here, Zamal Hussein, he's the chairman of the health committee. I will ask him to raise that matter.
But to the caller, in fact, only a couple of weeks ago, and I mentioned this couple of we bought a new testing machine.
The region?
The region bought a new testing machine in the excess of $4 million for the New Amsterdam hospital to increase the amount of tests per day. And I was told when I go into the hospital there, the most time that they could take to do the test is a day. So if you go in today, you're supposed to finish the test by tomorrow. Before the other day, you get the result.
So you are not getting any test there. We will represent that issue, right?
Okay then.
Thank you. Well, that's the problem, you see. Even blood tests now, simple thing as blood tests, people are not getting at the hospital. They have to go to private doctors. Hello? Hi, good evening. Where are you calling us from?
Williamsburg.
Williamsburg, okay.
I would like to make a complaint. My son is 15 years.
15 years?
Yes, he born 2003, the 29th of January. And he's a single parent. I mean, I afford to carry down to Kildonan to take out his child care.
Oh, okay.
And next one.
You have a phone?
Yes.
Alright, take this number. 333.
Yes, I don't want no problem. And when I go into the Portman clinic since 2003. And when you go to the hospital, and I get half of the tablet to give me.
So how you just get your medication?
I get a little bit public assistance from the college, and I take it and buy the tablet.
How much you pay normally monthly for tablets?
I pay actually some months about $3,000.
Alright, listen what we're going to do. Take this number, 333.
Okay.
You writing it?
Yes.
333
333
3795.
37
95.
95.
And call there, that is Freedom House in New Amsterdam. The comrades, they will assist you to get your son to the center, and they will assist you to get some medication too, right?
Okay, good. Thanks a lot.
Call this number on Monday.
Well.
Okay, good. You enjoy our program a lot.
All right, thanks.
Right now, I spoke with the Director of Health Services a few days ago and asked him to supply me the list of all the essential drugs so that we can know what drugs are available and when are available.
Hello, good evening. Hello. I've lost that call. Yeah, so I hope that you all can assist.
Yeah, we're trying to rectify the health sector in terms of how. In fact, a couple of days ago, I only take over this committee about 3 months, so we're trying to do something.
Hello, good evening. Hello. You're not getting seen in the line.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get the list of the essential drugs where the MMU supplies, and we will see what other drugs they are not supplying, so we can make this list public, so people can know what drugs is available and what is not available.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Where are you calling us from?
Calling from Manchester.
Manchester, okay.
I'm calling concerning Portmore Hospital.
Portmore Hospital, huh?
Yes. When you go there, you carry your babies or children there, they do not have any, like, medicine for fever, cold, and these things.
The basic medicine, flu, like, you know?
Right. Right, so you have to go and purchase that medicine. I want you to see if you could, like, look in.
So when the doctor prescribes the medicine and you go to the pharmacies, you don't, the pharmacy there, you don't get it. They have to tell you to go and buy it.
Yeah.
All right. I will ask Comrade Hussein here, and the same number I just gave out on screen. If you have any problem like that, you will represent the issue. But if you continue to get that problem, kindly call this office 333-3795, and they will try to talk to people there to see how they will represent these issues, so that people who don't afford it and who can't buy these medication for their children and themselves, they can at least get the comrades and can represent the issue to you all can get, right?
Okay.
Thank you very much. But it seems in the whole health sector we're getting serious problems.
Well, in fact, I was there a couple of days ago, and this is not the impression where we get it.
So you have to go and...
Well, now we have to go on the ground now to ensure that we rectify this
Hello,
situation.
good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Where are you calling us from?
Something?
Wait, okay.
Sir? If somebody is from another country living in Guyana over the past 5 years, can they apply to get a ID card in hand?
An adult?
No, if it's 14 years.
Okay, and the parents are Guyanese?
Yeah.
Oh, because the parents are Guyanese, any one of the parents, if they are Guyanese, well, automatically the child becomes a Guyanese citizen. So the child has Guyana birth certificate?
No, he doesn't.
And which country are you talking about?
Trinidad.
Trinidad. They have Trinidad birth certificate?
Yes.
So here what we'll do. We will help you to apply for a Guyana birth certificate. You have to get a copy of the Trinidad. Now the original one, the copy. If you photocopy it, I will ask somebody to visit you or call this number I am giving out, 333-3795.
Okay.
The comrades then will fill a form there and get a Guyana birth certificate for the child, so that he can, is a girl or a boy?
A boy.
So he can go and apply for an ID card.
Okay.
But because his parents are Guyanese, then automatically the child is a Guyanese.
Okay.
You understand? So make contact with these comrades, they will get the form to you, make a copy of the birth certificate, the Trinidad birth certificate, and you'll get the child will have a Guyana one too.
Okay.
But thanks for the call. And if there are other people out there, as long as a person born out of Guyana, but they born of Guyanese parentage, and the parents are Guyanese, automatically that person becomes a citizen of Guyana. If they don't have if they have outside a foreign birth certificate, then the birth certificate is needed, and they have to make an application to the GRO, and the GRO will issue them with a Guyana birth certificate, and they could take that birth certificate and go and register for an ID card. Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
And where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Narni.
Narni, okay. Yeah.
My problem is I'm looking at a program, and firstly, even if I'm willing to join the PPP party, I would not.
Why?
Because it's strictly political thing, racial thing.
No, but we're not talking about any racial.
This is I'm saying with everything.
Anyway, that is your view, but we have not been talking about racial thing. We are talking about what the government is doing to this country. And we have seen and we have heard a number of persons calling, and they are saying that they are not getting services. Basic things like flu tablets and medication. The lady just called that she cannot afford to buy her medication. Things like that. So that's the problem. So it seems that when these issues are coming out, some people are taking it personally. But I want to reassure that caller just now and other callers that the PPP is a multiracial party. The PPP is a party for this country. We have never discriminated. We have never had racial discrimination under the PPP or within the PPP. Let me be very frank. Unlike what this government is practicing. Hello, good evening.
Hi, good night.
Good night. And where are you calling us from?
Gangaram.
Gangaram, okay.
When the PPP was in power, he used to go to the hospital and he never used to get drugs stuff.
But not like today.
Times.
Right?
But listen to me, many times to go at the hospital when PPP was in power. And you never used to get medication, so why you are behaving like that now?
Well, probably in the PPP time you doesn't have certain medication, right? And the counselor just spoke about it. But not like today where you have shortage all over the place. You can't even get surgery.
Stop lying.
Right? So it seems that this lady is getting all the medication from the hospital, from Gangara.
Well, maybe she is being treated differently from the other persons. I don't know if she's been treated differently, but lo and behold, many, in fact, we are listening. This is actually a survey on what is really transpiring on the ground.
Well, it seems that, as I am saying, certain people, when issues raised, they are taking it personally. Under the PPP, yes, there was shortage of drugs, but not like today.
Not like today.
You had the ophthalmology hospital fully operable, conducted thousands of surgery. Today it's closed. That is not a lie, that is a fact, that is a reality.
The example was here a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah. Then you had a young man who suffered an injury, an accident, since January the 1st, waiting in the hospital to give him a date to go and do a simple surgery to fix his shoulder. Up to date, he can't get a date from them to go. That's the issue. And when we are talking these things, people are taking it that we are attacking. But this is a reality. This is a reality people are faced with. And this is the kind of way this government runs in the country. Hello, good evening.
Hi, Zulfi. Hi, good night.
Good night.
I tell you this thing, the poor man is not even get fun and solve for them little child.
But the lady just now said that in the PPP time I used to get to. The truth?
Oh man, I can't see.
Well, so that's the point, you know. So
imagine they don't have fun now.
Simple basic thing, and instead of spending millions and billions of dollars in the health sector. Thanks for the call, though.
I will.
Good. Well, it seems that we have just had a caller who confirmed what is taking place in the country.
But some people are trying to stifle their conscience. In the PPP time, people used to speak out when they didn't have drugs. You had Malik Ramaya, Ramjatan, Charandas go on the television and say, Sokraj, saying that they didn't have drugs. This is, after we have seized in power, we have a right to ensure that our people is being treated properly in the region. So we have to speak out.
That's it. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
And where are you calling us from?
Number 11. How you do?
Number 11, okay.
How you do?
All right.
Keep up the good work, and that lady, God bless her to get good treatment.
All right, good. Thank you very much. So it seems that some people is only just contradicting themselves, like the lady from. Anyway,
no, but we can't worry with these people. They have their views. We have to. They can say what they feel like.
Hello, good evening.
What the actual fact is.
Hi, good evening.
And where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Amsterdam.
Amsterdam, okay.
I want to report the issue that has been happening during the PPP time and also this time. When teachers graduate from the University of Guyana, they take a very long time to get their money. I want to know why.
Okay. So it's happening, continue happening?
Yes, this has been happening for years.
Okay.
Some teachers take a whole year to get their upgrade.
And the GTU is not representing the issue?
Well, I'm not sure what they are doing.
Okay, well...
Especially in Barbies. Teachers in Barbies face those problems.
Well, listen, I will raise this matter. I know the General Secretary of the GTU very well. I will raise it, but on my next program, kindly call me at Freedom House, 720-95, and I will give you an answer to it, right?
All right, thank you very much.
I will take one final call. I see the operator is signaling me that we are about to go into program time. So let me take this final call and then we'll wrap up. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Okay, and where are you calling us from?
Richard Allen.
Allen, okay.
Yeah. I have one suggestion today. Whenever this country has two main
political parties, yeah.
PPP and PNC. In my AFC and after PPP and PNC.
Right.
Whenever the PPP is election in office, I urge people to do this. And whenever the PNC wins, I urge people to go to any government place, public place, like in hospital.
Right.
I think that's vital because based upon my experience, whenever it takes place, so you know that more government people have priority.
Okay.
And when 50, you could do this when you could, fluctuate in business. And that's my suggestion.
Okay, thanks for the call. I think the call made some suggestion here. It's not bad. As I said, Samuel, that we are on program time. I will give you a last chance to wrap up before we close.
I just wanted to say that persons out there we know that everybody have their views, but we as an opposition, we have to represent people's issue, whatsoever is there on the ground. In fact, many persons come to my office and relate some issues, and as a regional councillor, as a elected official, I have to represent issue, and whatsoever the issue is, we have to put it forward as is it. So persons cannot be annoyed with us. They have to ensure that we correct some of these issues and try to make it better so that every single person can benefit.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Kamal and viewers. Let me thank you very much for having us in your living room for the last hour or so. As a matter of fact, we know for this we have a lot of issues to deal with in our country. I think that the government is not performing. We have seen almost all the sectors are contracting. We have listened to calls from members of the public who complain about the services that are being extended by government. These services that are being paid by taxpayers, they are not getting these services, example in the health sector, in other sectors in our country. We have to continue to fight for what is right and what the people will be benefit with. That is the action of a government. They have to extend these services and ensure that these services are extended to people out there, members of the public. As I said, that a number of issues we have spoken on. I want to reiterate the points that I have made earlier, that GCOM is conducting this important exercise. This is the only chance we have now to get ourselves correct on the voters list. I urge all of you, or the PPP urges you, to go out there to get your names on the list. If you don't have, can't afford it, kindly make contact with the PPP activist, the party organizer, the party supervisor. We have offices in Region 5, that is at Bath Settlement. The number there is 328-7580. We have a Freedom House in New Amsterdam. The number there, we have numbers there are 333-3795, 333-6362. We have an office at number 63 on the quarantine. The number there is 338-2294. You can make contact with these offices, and our activists, our organizers, our party supervisors, our MPs, our regional chairman, vice chairman, NDC chairman, they can assist you to get your transaction done at the centers. The centers are at Carriverton, that's responsible from Borealis Baruta to number 52, Kildonan, that's responsible from number 51 to Kilkay, and New Amsterdam, that's responsible from Fyrish to Mara and the East Bank of Berbice, including Kanchi. Also, you have 2 offices in Region 5, one at Fort Wellington and one at Maikoni. So kindly visit these offices. Again, if you cannot afford it, our people will help you to go there to get your transaction done. If you need help, kindly contact our Freedom House in 63 New Amsterdam Urban Settlement on the west coast of Berbice. And then we have this big activity on March 11, the centenary celebration of Dr. Chelly Jagan at Babujan. We have 2 marches commencing from Bloomfield and Williamsburg. And let us come out to show our gratitude to the father of the nation. Let us come out in our numbers to send a message to this government, to show them, tell them that what they are doing is wrong and it's not in the best interest for the people of this country. So until next week we meet again. So long.